everyone. You're watching the channel ACIT or CA Foundation. My name is Param and I'm going to teach you CA Foundation courses. So from today onwards, we are bringing all the lecture series on all the four papers for the CA Foundation, especially for the exam in November 2021. We were supposed to bring it by June 26th, as was said, but we really got a hot wave in BC Canada. That's why we just delayed it by 3 4 days, I think. So finally, we are bringing it on July 1st. So starting with the lecture series, I'm picking up the paper 4, which is economics, and I'm also starting with unit 2, chapter 2 and the unit 2 of chapter 2, which is a consumer behavior. The reason why I'm starting with that one is because the first chapter is basically a summarization of all the chapters, and it's very hard to understand in the initial time when you're understanding the first chapter. So it's best that when you leave it, you go to the other chapters, you come back on the first chapter, it becomes very easy for you to understand it. Second thing is that law of demand and elasticity of demand, which is the unit 1 of the chapter 2, that is basically depends on the consumer behavior. So if you know the consumer behavior part first and then you visit the law of demand and elasticity of demand unit, then I think it will be more easy and more understandable as well. So I'm starting with the consumer behavior. I'm going to break down this this unit into three parts. So first, we will just understand the basic terms like what is want, what is utility, what is the total utility, marginal utility, all those concepts, and then we will end up the today's lecture on the law of diminishing marginal utility. So, okay, let's start the course. Oh, sorry, the lecture. So the first is you must have heard the word want. Want is something which you desire, which you want something for yourself, you wish for, right? So either you can also call it as a wish, you can also call it desire. I think you must have known this in your 12th standard when you were studying economics. But just to visit the chapter, I really want you to understand that again. So wish is something that you want to desire for something, and they are like you can wish any single thing. There is no such thing that you can't wish, right? You can wish for big Mercedes car, if, whether you have the money or not. But then the wants are it can be any single thing. It can be any wish. It can be any desire for anybody. So in economics we call that as it is a want. So want is further like divided into three parts, which is called necessary or necessity. Second is called comforts. Third is called luxury. Now, necessary is something which is really necessary for you, right? So, necessary is again they further divided into three parts. One is necessary for your life, for living, or whatever we can say. Second is something for increasing your efficiency, right? And the third is conventional. Now, for life is something like a food or a drink. You really need it to live. Without that, you can't survive. So, even if you want a food or you want a drink or you want something like that, but that becomes a very necessary for your life. If you don't have that, you can't survive. So, that is a must. Then, efficiency is something like okay, if you have a very nutrition food now, like a lot of um, exotic foods you can afford, that becomes like okay, now more than a living, even if you don't eat them, you're not going to die, but that increases, right? You have the capacity now more of nutrition food, so the efficiency is more now. Third is conventional. If you make any social habits like you smoke or you drink, those kind of a thing, even though they're not required by your body, but you made it like that, that you really want it, you wish for that, you really like to do that, so it becomes a social habits, social habits, you can say. Second thing is comfort. Comfort is something that I'll just give you an example. It make your life easy with technology. As the technology is increasing, uh, we can say that like a washing machine is one of the example where people used to wash the clothes by hand, but now they can wash it in the washing machine. Second example can be dishwasher. People clean their utensils or whatever they have dishes into the dishwasher, right, instead of cleaning with the hands. So then the life becomes more comfortable, right? Third is luxury. It's very obvious from the name only. Luxury is something you want to have a diamonds, you want to have a luxurious cars and all that. Now that is a want, है ना? वो want है. आप luxury demand कर रहे हैं, you can have that. So they all are wants. Luxury भी want होती है, comforts भी want, and necessary भी want. So they all are wants. So just understand that it's nothing is going to be changed from there. Second thing is features. What are the features of want? It's very simple. Features are unlimited. First feature. First feature is that features of want. So then we can say that because there is no end to your want. Wants are unlimited. You can what you say that you can want as much as you want, right? There is nothing wrong in there. It can never, even if your one want is fulfilled, you go for the second one and then you go for the third one. It will keep on going. It will never end. It's infinite, right? So the wants are never ever limited in nature. And then second is that all wants cannot be satisfied. So you can have as many wants as you want. Let's say today I wish that, oh, I should have a helicopter. So that wish cannot be satisfied until or unless I have a capability to buy that helicopter. You understand what I'm saying here? So you always have some kind of a level, right? सब कोई लोग गरीब है, कोई अमीर है, सबका एक purchasing power है, right? You have to understand that. So if you go with that, in that sense, your want cannot be satisfied. You cannot fulfill all your wants. There are a certain limit. After that, your wants cannot be satisfied. Third is each want is, or you can say satisfied. That means whenever you have any want, you always reach to a satiable point or to the maximum point where it becomes zero, right? So that is a main point of the law of marginal utility. We will study the satiable point later on, but right now you just understand that that each want is satiable, that you reach the maximum satisfaction point. Third is uh, each want differ in like places. When we say each differ, like let's say if somebody wants to have a jacket, so if he goes to, let's say, in a cold climate and he had that jacket, and if he uses that, it will really give him a satisfaction when he's wearing it, right? But same jacket, if he wears in Rajasthan in a very hot weather, is it going to give the same satisfaction? So it depends from place to place, again time to time also it changes, right? So that want is a different thing. And from people also, some people, for some people this want is very urgent or very important. For that person it doesn't matter, right? Like a food, अब गरीब आदमी के लिए जो फूड है उसकी इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. ही ऑलवेज थिंक्स ओके मुझे रात को खाना मिलेगा कि नहीं मिलेगा. सो फॉर हिम दैट बिकम्स हिज मेन नेसेसरी वांट. अब वही फूड एक अमीर आदमी के लिए डजंट मेक सेंस, राइट? वो कहेगा कोई बात नहीं, अच्छा खा लेंगे और भी खा लेंगे, पिज्जा भी मंगा लेंगे, राइट? सो दैट सेम फूड वांट, अगर देखा जाए, इट्स नॉट the same thing for a rich person what a poor person will think. So it changes or it differs with people, places, time, right? And then there is also, it also changes with your taste, you can say. It also changes with the fashion. So won't keep on changing with taste, fashions, and all that kind of stuff. So you have to remember all that. It just Very, very generic concept that you will come up with. Now we will understand the concept what is utility. What is utility? I think. So, utility is basically a satisfaction, a pleasure, or we can say a well being, which is basically experienced by a consumer when he consumes that kind of a commodity or he possesses that commodity. Then that is called a utility. In just a simple words, we can say when either he consumes it or he possesses it. Like if he possesses a big mansion house or he possesses a car, a Mercedes car, right? So he will feel very satisfied with it. So utility is something that he's having a satisfaction out of it, whether he's consuming or he's possessing. That is the only normal term or a simple term we can say that, right? And then you also remember that this utility is the basis of the consumer demand, right? Consumers, like whenever a consumer demand a commodity because they desire or they expect to desire from some utility, then only the utility will come from that commodity, right? When he desires for something and he knows that there is a utility in that, then he demands for that commodity. The consumer demand comes into the picture. So utility is something that you're getting a satisfaction out of something like that. So in have written that it's a want satisfying power of a community. So utility, again, the way we did the want, utility also varies from person to person, right? It's very subjective in nature, we can say that. Very subjective because it varies. Varies from person to person. Then it also varies from time to time. It also, you can say, um, place to place also it depends, right? It also changes with the different moods of the consumer as well. So sometimes you want this, sometimes you don't want it, right? It depends on that. So utility, it's the same thing whatever you're saying in the want, basically it's same thing comes in the utility as well. And then there is one more thing very important, that utility sometimes it's very absolute in nature, like the utility is embedded in the product in itself, right? Until unless you don't use it, the utility will not come out. For example, if you have this pen, the marker in my hand, and we know that this marker, with this marker, I can write down on this blackboard. It has a utility, right, for writing it down. But if I don't want to use it, then it has no value. It has no value at all. So if I know, okay, fine, I have to use this on the blackboard, I'm going to buy this marker. Otherwise, I'm not. So even though it's a even though it has a utility in itself, until or unless it doesn't give me a utility as a consumer, then it's no use to me. So we can say it's an absolute value also. What else we can say? You remember in wants when we said that it's a conventional, like a social habits. People make it like they smoke or they have an they drink. So that thing is also called in economics. Sorry, neutral. Neutral means something. Economists say that even though it's not socially acceptable, but they are just like kind of neutral on this subject. It's a want because a person who is smoking, a person who is drinking, they want that. It's their wish, and they are being satisfied by it. So there's a utility in them for them, right? So that's why it's considered very neutral. So they don't consider it harmful. Now, there is one term which is called as a choice. Choice is very important in economics, and the reason is that they say uh, because in economics why this is important, because they say because choice is basically depend on your preferences, and it also depend on your income, right? This is important in the sense, I will give you an example so that you can understand very well. That let's say your mom goes to the सब्जी मंडी to buy सब्जी, ठीक है, सब्जी लेने के लिए आपकी मम्मी सब्जी मंडी गए। अब उन्होंने सोचा आज के लिए मैं सिर्फ ₹100 है वो ही सब्जी पे लगाऊंगी, ठीक है। So when she is buying, because this is his income now, which money in her hand, which she just want to spend for the day. So when she's going to the sabji money and she wants to spend that ₹100, let's say she found vegetable one, vegetable two, and vegetable three, right? Say this is bhindi, this is karela, this is kaddu. I'm just saying simple, right? अब मान लेते हैं कि okay, so there is one more thing, right? Now, now let's say your mom, this is let's say ₹50 per kg. This is ₹40 per kg. This is ₹30 per kg. So let's say kaddu is in the market about ₹30 per kilo. I'm just saying a very generic, maybe it's not the correct price, but just to understand the concept, right? So let's say it's 30, Karela is about 40 rupees per kilo, and your bhindi is about ₹50 per kilo. So, and she has only ₹100 in her, which she wants to spend for the day. So now, what she's going to do? She can buy these two, or these two, or these two, right? She can buy any two of the veggies out of that 100. She can't buy all of those three because they are more than the ₹100. She can only buy two. Now, the first thing is the money, which I'm talking about. This thing that comes in the picture. Second is the price. That is a second factor which also plays a role. If the bindi is only like ₹20, karela is 20, kaddu is 20, then maybe she can buy all the three, right? Because that is under ₹100. But right now, the prices of the goods are like that. They are 50, 40, 30, and she can't buy it. So price is also one of the factor. Her income is also one of the factors. The third factor comes in when she's choosing out of these three, that preferences will come. So what she wants to buy. If let's say in her family nobody eats kaddu, she's not going to buy kaddu because nobody is going to eat kaddu. She's just going to buy bindi and karela, right? So that's how the choice is made. This is the most tough and the important decisions when the consumer, they have to make a combination of any two or three goods, because in real life we don't buy one thing, right? We buy many kind of combination of the items. So in that case she has to make a preference. So these choice thing comes into the picture. So one is the preference, the second is the purchasing power. Purchasing power is further divided into income and the price. Like what is the price of the goods and what is the income of the person, or in other words, how much he wants to spend. So that is also one of the important factor in economics when we deal with the approaches. I hope it will be fine as I keep on making the lectures. Okay, so let's see the approaches. when when the economist came up with this behavior of the consumers, the choices, the want, the utility, they started making different theories, right? So many approaches or the theories came up, but there are two major ones which in economics, we talk in consumer behavior. Right? So the first is cardinal utility analysis. Cardinal utility analysis. So these two approaches came up. The first approach, cardinal utility analysis approach, was given by the traditional and we can say new classical economist. And this approach was given by modern. So that is modern, this is classical. One thing is this. Second thing is in the cardinal utility analysis, what they did, they said that utility can be measured in numbers. So this can be measured in numbers. The reasoning was this, that as kilos, kg, when we want to take a weight or something like that, we use kg or other unit of the measurement, or for the height like a feet, inches, whatever, right? So they say that if that can be measured, the utility also can be measured, and they came up with the unit of the measurement which they call utils. They call it utils. So they literally said utils. But on the other hand, ordinal utility analysis people, the modern approaches said no, 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 no. It's not possible to, because utility is basically a psychological kind of a concept. It's not something physically there. Because in utility, you can go and ask a person, okay, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay, you have eaten this. How much utility you're going to give this? And you say, oh, okay, fine, I'll give you 10. The same person can say 9, right? So they argued on this basis that utility cannot be measured in numbers. You can order them by preferences. So they came by by preferences, and they came up with a measurement called ranks. You can give them a rank, like rank 1, rank 2, rank 3. So they said you cannot measure in numbers. You can give them a rank. Beyond that, you can't go, right? So that was the modern kind of an approach. The second thing, they say, they always talk about quantitative approach, quantity, right? And they talked about quality, qualitative approach. So this was the main difference. The main difference is only that they talked about numbers, they talked about order of preferences, nothing else, right? So this theory was given by Alfred Marshall. You really need to remember this. Alfred Marshall. And this theory was given by Hicks. And I think there was one more person. Let me see, what was that? R.A.G. Allen. So these were the economists. So Alfred Marshall gave the cardinal utility analysis concept. Basically, he came up with one more approach, which is called the marginal utility, and they came up with the indifference curve. I hope this can you can understand from here. So it's very simple. I'll just repeat it again so that you can understand. So for the consumer behavior, there were two approaches. One was the cardinal utility analysis approach. The second was the ordinal utility analysis approach. So there were two. This was classical, or we can say traditional new classical from the economists. This was a modern economist. So what they did out here, they said that cardinal utility, as per the cardinal utility analysis, utility can be measured in numbers, and they gave the term or the unit of the measurement was utils. While ordinal utility analysis economist says no, it cannot be measured in numbers. It can only be ordered by preferences, and it can given a rank. So they came up with a different kind of a approach. So with this cardinal utility analysis, this approach came up, which is called the marginal utility analysis. You must have heard about the law of law of diminishing marginal utility. So it's coming from this approach, cardinal utility. You need to remember that, because in the question it can come that marginal utility analysis is linked to which approach. So if you don't know this concept, then you can just miss this very easy marks, you know. So anyway, so this law of diminishing marginal utility, or the marginal utility analysis, other words, was given by Alfred Marshall, and then they came up with a different approach that was called indifference curve, which is a part of the ordinal utility analysis. So let's move on to we will explain this now in further detail. So after this approach, before we dive into the law of, or maybe we can just simply say analysis, that you really need to know uh, three terms. One is the material utility. Second is the total utility. Third is the marginal utility. So you can also write IU, TU, MU. Basically, this is a short form of writing. So initial utility, you may not see that in your course, but it's a very simple thing. You really need to know that. Initial utility is when you consume your first unit of any commodity what you're eating. That is called the initial utility. It's nothing a big concept. Just very simple one. The first unit. Total utility is if you eat, let's say, for example, you're eating a chocolate, okay, and you have when you buy a chocolate bar, let's say it has pieces in there. So we'll number it one, two, three, four, five, six. Or in other words, we'll two, three, four, five, seven, eight, nine. Let's say it has 10 pieces in there, and all of them they're same. Okay, so in this theory, one more thing comes up, that assumption that I should tell you right now. No. We'll deal with that later on. Anyway, so okay, it's good to know here. Anyway. So assumption is that all the units needs to be identical and same. Okay, identical and same. One, same size. So they cannot be different size. They cannot be, they just wanted everybody is of the same size, identical in shape. Every single taste is also same taste. So there is nothing that one is a big, nice quality, high quality, and the other one is a low quality. It should be the same day, same size, every single thing same. Then these things will hold. So now let's say when he ate the first piece, the initial utility starts. If he eats all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all of them he eats, that person. So then that becomes the total utility, how much satisfaction he got after eating all of that 10 pieces of a chocolate. We just added up. And the marginal utility is something kind of an additional. Like let's say when we started with the first piece of the chocolate, we really got a lot of satisfaction after eating it, right? Let's say when you are hungry and you get a or you, let's say you get a food, or the first bite will be like you eat and you feel so satisfied, or you are thirsty, and when you drink water you really feel very very good, like जो पहला ग्लास आपने पानी का मजा आ गया, चैन आ गया, उसके बाद में आप दूसरा ग्लास जो पिएंगे तो आपकी प्यास जो है वो बुझेगी, but still you're not, your satisfaction goes a little down compared to the first one. So whatever the satisfaction you are getting with the second, and between the first and the second, that will call the marginal utility. It's the addition of the utility for the next one. So it's, that's called the marginal. So we will just explain this in other words like this. uh, u is equal to mu1 plus mu2 plus 3 and so on. So that will become the total utility. We will just make a schedule here or a table so that you understand more on that. Okay. Let's say, so let's say the quantity in units. Let's go like that. And then this. Okay. So this is a very hypothetical schedules we're making it. Let's say somebody eats a chocolate. So we're saying chocolate here. So when a person consumes the first chocolate, he gets the total utility or the satisfaction on the very first piece is 6. So this is given in utils, okay? In utils. So this is 6 utils. I'm not going to write it so that you can understand it. So they get a satisfaction of 6 utils. In this case, when the first item, first piece you eat, that is always going to be the same. So it's because there is nothing previously, right? So it's 6 only for the marginal utility as well. When he hits the second one, he has a total 10 after combination of 1 and 2. So it is 10 utils they got a satisfaction. So how much it is increased here? 4. So there's a difference of 4. So the difference is basically the marginal utility, additional satisfaction what we were talking about, right? So you got 4 here, so that will be the marginal utility. So between this one is how much? It's 2. Right? So as we go, we keep on. So this is basically adding up here. As we got the marginal utility of 2, we are adding up here, it becomes 12. And then after that, marginal utility, total utility on the fourth piece becomes 12, and it is 0 here. व्हाट आई एम सेइंग इज लेट्स से जब उन्होंने पहला चॉकलेट का पीस खाया, सो दे गॉट अ यूटिल्स फॉर 6, उसकी मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी भी 6 हो। आई एम जस्ट रिपीटिंग इट अगेन। देन दे ईट द सेकंड पीस ऑफ द चॉकलेट, द टोटल यूटिलिटी वाज 10, मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी वाज ओनली 4। तो सेटिस्फैक्शन तो मिली है, ऐसी बात नहीं है, देयर इज अ सेटिस्फैक्शन। 6 जो था वो भी पॉजिटिव नंबर है, 4 भी पॉजिटिव नंबर है। बट इफ यू नोटेड हियर द टोटल यूटिलिटी इज इंक्रीजिंग फ्रॉम 6 टू 10, पर मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी जो है वो 6 से 4 हो गई है, इट्स डिक्रीजिंग। नोट दैट पॉइंट। थर्ड चॉकलेट जब हमने खाई तो टोटल यूटिलिटी 12 हो गई, राइट? पर जो मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी है वो 4 से 2 हो गई। अब देखो यहाँ पर तो टोटल यूटिलिटी 6, 10, 12 बढ़ती जा रही है, इट्स इंक्रीजिंग। but on the other hand marginal utility is decreasing, 6, 4, 2। और यहाँ पे फोर्थ पीस खाते ही आपकी जो टोटल यूटिलिटी है वो 12 हो जाती है, मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी 0 हो जाती है। आप इसको दूसरी तरह से अंडरस्टैंड करें। आप देखो खाना खाते हैं फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तो जब आपने पहली रोटी खाई आपको 6 उसकी सेटिस्फैक्शन मिली। जब आपने दूसरी रोटी खाई तो दूसरी खाते वक्त आपको उसकी सेटिस्फैक्शन तो हुई खा के, पर जितनी पहली को खा के उतनी नहीं हुई, पर फिर भी हुई, राइट? तीसरी में क्या हुआ कि आप फील करने लगे मैं तो, मेरा तो पेट भर गया, मुझे और जरूरत नहीं, आई एम फुली सेटिस्फाइड नाउ, राइट? पर उसमें भी आपके फिर भी मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी 2 आ रही है। तो किसी ने आपको चौथी रोटी दे दी, आपकी मम्मी ने जबरदस्ती कि नहीं बेटा खाओ, कमजोर हो रहे हो आप, राइट? तो चौथी भी दे दी। जब चौथी दी तो आप, दिल नहीं कर रहा था पर आपने फिर भी चलो खा ली मम्मी के कहने पे। जब अपने मम्मी के कहने पे चौथी खाई, यू वर लाइक ओके आई एम डन। बिल्कुल जैसे कई बार हम लोग खाते वक्त कहते हैं ना अब तो बिल्कुल पेट भर गया, देखने को दिल नहीं कर रहा, दैट स्टेज कम्स इन एंड देन द मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी बिकम 0। यहाँ पे देखो टोटल यूटिलिटी जो है वो कांस्टेंट हो गई है, right? There is no change, there is 0 here, completely there is no change। marginal utility, जब marginal utility 0 हो जाए, you are at the maximum satisfaction। okay? That is also called satiable point। उसके बाद क्या है, जब आपने पांचवी रोटी खाई, किसी ने आपको जबरदस्ती दी, तो जो टोटल यूटिलिटी है वो कम हो गई, पहले 12 थी अब 10 रह गई। तो यहाँ पे क्या है, there's a -2, तो यू फील लाइक टू वॉमिट आउट, है ना? अब आपको किसी ने एक और रोटी, जहाँ पे आप बिल्कुल फुल हो गए थे, आपको अगर कोई एक और दे दे तो आपको उल्टी आ जाएगी, और उसके बाद अगर कोई एक और दे दे उसके बाद में, सो यू सी द डिफरेंस हियर, फिर तो बुरी हालत हो जाएगी। सो ये मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी जो है वो नेगेटिव में चलेगी, मीन्स की यू आर फीलिंग डिसकंफर्ट नाउ, आपको सेटिस्फेक्शन नहीं मिल रही है और आपको डिसकंफर्ट हो रहा है। सो again if you understand this concept now then it's very easy to you know to understand the marginal utility concept। अगर हम इसके ऊपर अब ड्रॉ करें डायग्राम, तो there is a space here, यहाँ पे let's draw graph। अब मैं वैसे एक जनरल ड्रॉ करें सो दैट यू गाइस कैन अंडरस्टैंड। अब we will draw the units on the x-axis। Okay, I'm just going to draw the combination for the total utility and the marginal utility together on this graph। आपके कोर्स में एक्चुअली उनको डिफरेंट ग्राफ में दिखाया हुआ है, यू कैन डू डिफरेंट ग्राफ टू बट इट्स द सेम थिंग। चलो ये हो गया आपका ग्राफ। तो पहले हम टोटल यूटिलिटी का बनाते हैं कि व्हेन दे हैव द फर्स्ट वन, वेट अ सेकंड, दिस विल बी द मैं आपको ना ऐसे This is CU. And so let's say जब उसने first unit की, so that is the point, right? That will be the point. Second unit के time पे it's and then third unit के time पे it is how much 12, and then it's flat and it comes back to 10, it comes back to. So this is total utility. On the other hand, marginal utility started at 6, it came at 4, right? उसके बाद आ गया, then it comes here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So fourth item I need to here. I need to यहाँ पे. Then so you see that here that was the which one fourth item. So let's explain that. Now, try to understand the relationship between the total utility and the marginal utility. If you understand this particular graph, you can answer any questions after that. You don't need to memorize any single thing. You don't need to do any single thing. If you there are only three main points in this, if you understand that, you are good to go for the long finishing marginal utility. So in this, if you noted, marginal utility is always falling, right? It's always falling. अभी मेरा डायग्राम इतना अच्छा नहीं बना है because I'm just using a free hand here. तो इसीलिए it's very like kind of, but it can be a very straight line, but it's always downward. Make sure करना कि जब total utility is increasing, when total utility is increasing, increasing pace, है ना, increase हो रही है, अब देख रहे हो, marginal utility decrease हो रही है, पर दोनों में डिफरेंस ये है कि मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी डिक्रीज तो हो रही, बट इट इज पॉजिटिव है, इट इज पॉजिटिव है, ठीक, और ये तो इंक्रीज हो रही है, सो दैट इज आल्सो पॉजिटिव. उसके बाद में जब ये कांस्टेंट हो जाती है, इफ यू नोटिस दैट, एंड इट रीच टू द कांस्टेंट पोजीशन, द फोर्थ आइटम का आया था 12 12 हो गया था, उस टाइम पे मार्जिनल यूटिलिटी जीरो हो गई. जब हमने कहा था, so here they got the maximum satisfaction when the mom gave the fourth roti, and we said, okay, I don't want it, but still you had it, and it was completely done. You had fully satisfied. It was a maximum satisfaction. It was a satiable position, right? उसके बाद में जब next roti आई है, when the fifth one came, right? When the fifth roti came, if you remember the table previous one, then it becomes negative, or total utility started falling. If you noted, when it becomes negative, then only the total utility fall, otherwise it's still increasing. So you noted here marginal utility becomes negative here. So marginal utility is positive, is zero, and is also negative, but total utility is always positive. It never touched this line, it never crossed this line. Remember this point. Total utility, even though it's falling, but it's still positive. Okay? Still there's a utility. But margin utility is the only one which is positive first, then it becomes zero, then it becomes negative. So what they're trying to say in this graph, this is what the law of diminishing marginal utility is. That it will always will decline, no matter what. It will never have a thing like this, the curve like that. It will always have a curve like that. And the reason is if you keep all other factors constant and you just eat one commodity, your maximum satisfaction will reach at some point. and then it will become negative. But before that also, it will start coming up. They both started at the same point. But the total utility goes high, but the marginal utility starts falling down. You first you feel more satisfied, then you feel less satisfied, and so on and so forth. So the important assumption for this law of marginal utility is, so remember this first point always when the TU is increasing, right? It's positive. MU is also positive. When the TU becomes constant, MU becomes zero. When TU start falling down, MU becomes negative. These are the main three relationships between them. So the law of marginal utility will only hold. There are certain assumptions. They are, first is that it's only one commodity, only one commodity you're eating. There is not a substitute. There is no complementary commodity. Nothing. In generally, we do have it, but they assume it in this law that it's only one commodity we are consuming, and there is no other commodity we are consuming. Second thing is what they say is that only one time at one. There should not be any gap. There should not be any interval. राइट कि ये नहीं है कि सुबह खा लिया फिर दोपहर को खा लिया फिर रात को खाया देन यू आर गोइंग टू एड इट अप नो इफ यू आर ईटिंग अ लंच देन इट विल बी काउंट एट द सेम टाइम ओनली कि आप लंच खा रहे हो उस टाइम की ये यूटिलिटी मेजरमेंट हो रही है तो उस टाइम पे अगर रोटी तो आप सुबह भी खा लिया उसके बाद फिर भूख लगी 2 घंटे के बाद अंदर अगेन यू स्टार्टेड ईटिंग इट राइट सो योर यूटिलिटी विल not come like this, then margin utility will not show up like that. It will change then, right? So the assumption is that there is no gap, there is no time interval. You are eating in continuously, whatever the commodity is, one, two, three, four. So that is the second one. Third one is no interval. Size really matters. It's not that कई बार ये होता है कि I'm drinking with a glass of water, मैं thirsty था, second one I'm just drinking with a spoon. No. So all of has to be same glass and completely filled or same roti, right? So that is also very important. You cannot change the size of the commodity. It has to be the same. So these assumptions really need to be there. Otherwise, this law doesn't come into the picture. It doesn't even fall there. So we have to make sure to be all those assumptions follow. What else is the assumptions for this one? There is no substitutes, there is no complementary goods. There is, they also think that a person is a rational person, he's a wise person, he will try to maximize his satisfaction, whatever he is consuming. This is also one of the assumptions. Then, what are the limitations? Because we are very up with the limitation. What they're trying to say, whatever the assumptions they're taking in real life, it's not possible. They're taking like cardinal utility measurement numbers, which is not possible. So then they have a marginal utility of money. This is also one of the main factor for assuming that the marginal utility of money is also kept constant. It doesn't change whether there is a change in your income. That is not being considered. In reality, it does matter, but they assume it that the marginal utility of the money stays the same. It's not going to affect it. So that is also out. So they are very uh, unrealistic assumptions they are keeping it. So they are the limitations. Now, what are the exceptions into this one now? So exceptions is we can say that a little bit. What can be the exceptions? When you eat or consume a food, this law can follow if we have all the other assumptions. Fine. But there are certain things, even if you have more, you feel more happy. Let's say I want to have more cash. Like when you have more cash, more diamonds, all that kind of a stuff, your utility goes more higher. You feel more satisfied. You never have that kind of a feeling that, oh, you know what, I will have the first diamond, I will have the maximum satisfaction. Sorry, the margin utility will be very high. And then when I buy the second diamond, my marginal utility will fall a little bit, even though the total utility is high. That doesn't happen with diamond. You have more satisfaction with that. So the this rule doesn't follow there. Exception is there. If you're buying the precious items, if it is hobbies, if you have certain kind of a hobby which you play, like a computer game or any other game, you really feel more satisfied. Your marginal utility goes high with that. The more you have that kind of a hobby. So this is also exception where it's not that it declines after a while or becomes zero or becomes negative. It doesn't fall there either. Third is your habits, like people who smoke, drink, and they have these kind of alcohol or cigarettes, they feel more satisfied. Their marginal utility never gets down. So the more they have, the more they enjoy it. The second is a miser people too. You know, most जो लोग हैं उनको जितना पैसा उनकी तिजोरी में रखा जाएगा उतना ही उन्हें satisfaction होती है, right? So these exceptions are there. You really need to understand that this rule doesn't follow there, and when they ask exam, you should be able to answer. Okay, so we will end the lecture today here, and I really want you to revise all this, every single thing, and try to understand the concept, because if you don't understand the concept, the other concepts will never go in your mind. So the second one, we will be coming up with the consumer equilibrium and the consumer surplus model. Second one, and the third one will be the differences. And in 3 lectures, we are done with this particular. Thank you for watching the video, and if you really like it, please subscribe करना मत भूलें, क्योंकि अगर आप सब्सक्राइब नहीं करोगे तो मोटिवेशन नहीं मिलेगा, नहीं, जब मोटिवेशन और मिलेगा then I can bring more better lectures, more lectures, so yeah, thanks for watching again, and stay tuned for the next lecture. Thank you very much.